What's going on, shady people? Shady Penguinn here, and it has been quite some time since you have seen my face on this channel. It's the longest I've ever gone without uploading, and forgive me, I'm going to be looking at my phone. I have notes for this video. I'm going to be looking at my computer because I have tweets that I want to answer from you guys. Really quick, if this is the first video you're seeing from me in a long time, I mean a long time. We haven't uploaded since February 11th. So just under 2 months it's been since we last uploaded. But if it's been way longer since you've seen a video of mine, can you do me a favor and leave a comment down below and let me know that? Because if my information is correct, that is going to be the case. That because I took such a long break, a lot of you guys that have not seen videos in your sub feed for even longer than 2 months. So like Fire Emblem, since Fire Emblem, basically, if you haven't seen anything in your sub feed since the middle of Fire Emblem, since Sword and Shield, let me know in the comments down below, because if my information is correct, that should be the case when it comes to the YouTube algorithm. And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about today. Really quick, if you don't want to listen to this update video and you just want to know if I'm going to be uploading it again on this channel, go down in the comments. I will have a pinned comment that will basically be a really long essay TLDRing. It'll be long, but it'll be shorter than watching this update video because we're going to be talking about a ton of things today. I'll give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about why I took a break from YouTube, covering the YouTube algorithm, Pokemon community, a Shady Penguinn history lesson. We're going to talk about the nappy stuff. And it's been over a year, and I have not come out in a public forum in any way, shape, or form, and there's many reasons for that. And we will dive into that as much as I feel is appropriate. You guys know that I have a certain standard I hold myself to when it comes to, especially that kind of stuff, when it comes to personal stuff. And I will dive into it as much as I see appropriate, while trying to give you guys a little bit of closure on things from my end. I'm going to talk about current projects that I've been working on that don't involve Shady Penguinn. Over the past 2 months, I've started some things, I've stopped some things, I've done some things. I have a little bit, I'm going to talk about Patreon, just a tiny bit, not a crazy plug, but we've been doing Patreon for over a year, and I want to talk about that. I'm going to update you guys as much as I can on D&D Presents. Actually, I can do that real quick right now for those of you guys that want to know. If you guys don't know, I'm scheduled. We did a PAX East live show of D&D Presents Torch. Once I have accurate and concrete information, you will have accurate and concrete information. That's really all I have right now. We are in limbo with everything going on in the world. Wizards of the Coast is a company that was probably heavily affected by the things that are happening in the world right now, considering how much of their content produced is in person. So that's as soon as I have accurate information, I promise you, follow me on Twitter, you will have accurate information. Family update. I want to talk about my family a little bit because they're a huge part of my life, and I want to talk about where we're going to be going from here. If any of that interests you, tab out. It's just going to be my face on the screen, nothing crazy, and we can jump into this. Yes, first and foremost, I am growing my fringe back out. You guys can see this. We're going all the way back to 2013 in some ways, aren't we? Really, you know, I wanted to grow my hair out, and that's all that is. Let's talk about the important things. Why I took a break from YouTube. So why did I take a break from YouTube after Fire Emblem? So while Fire Emblem was closing out, obviously I committed to doing one of the longest Let's Play I've ever done on YouTube. Last year was a really important year for me because I promised myself that any Let's Play I started on this channel or Patreon, as long as it was in my control and it wasn't super glitchy like a Pokemon fan game patrons, I was going to finish it. And I did just that. And I am extremely proud of that because you guys know, if you are watching this video for the first time, you know that I would stop Let's Plays all the time. I would quit mid-game, the game. I would lose interest in it. And I would just, there's no reason to keep playing this if I'm not interested in it. But last year I wanted to take a year and say, I am going to commit to finishing any game that I start. And I did it. And you know what? I'm proud of it. And during that process, obviously, Fire Emblem was not the most viewed series on our channel. It was both the longest and the least viewed series on our channel. Well, that's not true. Legacy of Goku probably got less views. A 5-episode series really, you know, cratered my channel. So, and I knew going into Fire Emblem was going to be a long game, but I really wanted to experience it. And I have no regrets. I love Three Houses. It is incredible. I love it so much that we did the side story on Patreon. Right now we're in the middle of Golden Deer on Patreon, and we're going to be doing Edelgard's Route somewhere. I haven't decided where yet, but probably Patreon at this point, just to keep it over there. That'll be something I address a little later on in our Patreon update. So with that series doing poorly, as it went on, obviously as Let's Plays do, obviously that's not a surprise. I decided that I was going to take a break from YouTube to pursue other ventures, specifically game development. That was the biggest venture that I was going into. And I learned so much. And I have not done game dev in a little while. I was working with an artist. We got about 4 weeks into game development, which cost me, I'm not going to tell you, it was very expensive to hire an artist, a professional artist to do game art, sprite work. And it burnt a pretty big hole in my pocket. And then everything happened in the world that's happening right now. So that got put to a screeching halt for sure. During this break, obviously, my YouTube revenue dropped, as it should. When you're not working, your money should drop. So this is not something I'm complaining about. But I was curious to see how much YouTube would generate me on a passive, completely passive state. And I'm not sad about it, but it is like 90% less than I would make if I'm working. So, and then that's how it, honestly, it should be 100% less, right? But because of the way this system works and the reason why I've invested 7 years, I've been on YouTube for 7 years. 7 years. That's a long time. That's the longest I've ever done any one thing. Longer than I've been with my wife. Well, no, that's not true. She was with me before Shady Penguinn. Longer than I've been married, but that's obvious. Anyway, so with all of that happening, with views feeling bad, me deciding to take a break for multiple reasons, just to see if that's going to be the best way to reset the channel, see how much I can make passively. And nothing was really interesting me that fit the channel, right? So Shady Penguinn has always been a place where I've just done my passions, right? But I was really wanting to get into game development. And that wasn't something that was in the same vein, even though it has the word game in it. It doesn't have the same, I knew even with the little information I had on the YouTube algorithm at the time, that was never gonna work. It was not gonna be, I would have to make a new channel for that. And I really wanted to sharpen my skills before I made a channel. I really got into the mindset of wanting to create value for you guys. If I'm going to put something up, I want it to have some sort of value. I would say on this channel over the 7 years, the value has mostly been majority entertainment, and then I would say some informative stuff. But majority of my content is, the value is found in entertainment. And I do kind of think that entertainment is a pretty low form of value. I think information is a much higher form of value as I've gotten older, but I love being entertained and I love entertaining. So it doesn't mean that I don't want to do it. It's just that I struggled for a little while with a complex akin to an identity crisis almost, I guess I would say, where I felt like I could potentially be providing more value and it would fulfill me more. When you can imagine a greater goal and you're not shooting towards that goal, it does something to your mental health. If you feel like you can imagine a greater good than the good you're aiming for. So that kind of happened during the break. It was a good soul searching time as to what I want to do with my life in regards to what great good goal do I want to set and what do I want to strive for. And I think I've nailed it down. It seems like it's something that's ever evolving, but for me, I think my main priority is just my family. You know, our family is grown now. We have 2 children. We'll talk about that a little later. So during this break, I also took some time to do some research on the YouTube algorithm because I knew after about 2 to 3 weeks of not uploading anything to YouTube, I knew that I did not want to stop. Like, I don't want to stop creating content. That's not what the dream was after, it wasn't like, oh man, I can't wait to retire. That was not the case. Not the case at all. But in my research of the YouTube algorithm and talking to a few people that are more knowledgeable on the inner workings of YouTube, it was basically brought to my attention that my YouTube channel stands no chance in the current landscape of YouTube unless I were to unlist a bunch of videos. Now, there was a time in my life where a specific company offered me thousands of dollars to unlist videos, because they were ROM hacks and fan games. And I refused thousands of dollars and future employment. So for me to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to unlist videos just so I can get another swing at this YouTube thing. That's just not in my blood. It just isn't. So how did that hit me? It hit me pretty hard, honestly, knowing that my channel has peaked in its current form. That is a really hard pill to swallow and to admit to, that your channel. So for a while it was, I have peaked, but that's not the truth at all. This channel has peaked. So what does that mean? Does that mean that I stop uploading completely and I just let it be a passive revenue stream and we start a new channel with a new mindset? What would I even do with that new mindset? Where do I want to go? I enjoy Let's Playing. I enjoy just experiencing a game and sharing it. That is such a low form of entertainment, and that is such a low form. There's such a small demand for that in this day and age, and that's fine. But it is what I think that I have crafted over these years. It's the thing that I can do, and I kind of either have to work on a new skill or do the thing that I can do. Thankfully, Patreon is a thing, and that's where I get to do the thing that I can do with your guys' help. I really appreciate that. There's hundreds of hours of content over there, but we're not on that yet. Let's keep talking about Shady Penguinn history lesson. So we're going to get into a little bit more of the serious stuff that I know a lot of you guys are here for. And maybe I'll just timestamp this because I know this is what the majority of people that click this video are here for. I don't even know if I'm going to put it in the title, but let's talk about history lesson. I started YouTube in 2013. By 2014, I was integrated into a community, the Pokemon community, very specifically a community of friends that included Nappy, that included Sacred Fire, that included Numb Nexus, Twit, Jamie, Game Boy Luke. Like this was the community that I was involved with. These are my friends. This is what YouTube was to me. This is what the Pokemon community was to me. I know that there's a larger Pokemon community, right? But that was my Pokemon community. And doing projects, battling, WBE, all that stuff, that's kind of what Pokemon was for me. At some point, probably 2016, I think it was, Duel Links came out. And I was pretty good on the Pokemon aspect. My friends and I were playing different games. We were doing Dungeon Defenders on the side. We were having random streams, Mario Kart. So Pokemon was no longer the gateway to friendship. Video games just were. And relationship was just the gateway to friendship. So I was like, I'm not really enjoying Pokemon right now. Let's just jump into Duel Links. See if I can make something happen. I've never tried to shift gears on my channel in the 3 years that I've been doing this, 3 to 4 years. And I did it, and it worked. YouTube algorithm loved the fact that I did it. I don't know if there was crossover. The algorithm was definitely different. So that swap was pretty easy for me. And I did Duel Links for a while, year and a half, maybe. I have over 3,000 videos on this channel, and hundreds of them are Duel Links, I'm pretty sure. So we did Duel Links for a while. Then I wanted to get back into Pokemon, because this channel, like I said, has always been a place where I've just put my passion on display. Whatever game I was passionate about playing at the time, I did it. I mean, we've even done Zelda here. We've obviously done Fire Emblem. We've done some random Let's Plays that have just obviously fallen to the wayside. But I'd say our biggest things have been Pokemon, Duel Links, and then probably Zelda would be the next biggest thing on this channel that I feel like actually was successful. Between Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild, I think they both did fine. I think Breath of the Wild is fantastic. It's one of my favorite playthroughs to go back and watch, honestly. Just like, it's something I know I'm going to sit down and put on for my kids because it's just enjoyable. I like it. I don't know. Is that cocky? Is that conceited? I don't think so. I think this just means that I made content that's going to be good for my family. That was kind of the whole goal. Anyway, so now let's fast forward a bit. I jump back into Pokemon. Sword and Shield comes out. Sword and Shield was a pretty big letdown for me from a single player experience. I felt I expected way more when it comes to the story. And the internet was pretty divisive on it. They were pretty split on whether it was a good game or a bad game. Before this happened, though, obviously, there was the whole incident with Nappy, where the Pokemon community, the landscape of the Pokemon community changed forever. Before this happened, though, now that I'm running through my thoughts, I had already drifted from my friend group. And that's probably happened during the Duel Links era, now that I'm thinking about it. I had 2 friends from YouTube come to my wedding, I believe. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Technically 3. One was a couple at the time. And no one else besides Luke from that group came to my wedding. And the reason was because we grew apart. I wasn't as active in calls. I was, preparing for a wedding. I was playing Duel Links. They were doing Pokemon stuff. The only time I really spoke to anyone was when I was doing a Soul Link. That was really it. So for a while, and it was really all on me, right? Like, I grew apart from the group. And that was kind of my Pokemon community, as I said. So really thinking about this during my break, one of the reasons why Pokemon isn't as attractive to me anymore is because for me, it was friendship. It was a lot of getting to meet people online and getting to learn new things, get exposed to new cultures and ideologies, and just having a good time overall. And that changed. And it wasn't the group's fault, and I don't think it was my fault. It was just the world turning. It just was what it was. So then everything happened with Nappy, right? Big stuff, really serious stuff that should not be taken lightly. And this is where I'm going to talk a little bit about things where I'm going to be very careful with what I say. And it's not because I have anything to hide. It's because I don't think that everyone is privy to all of this information. I don't think that's how it should be. On a side note, I'm going to get this out of the way. I shared information to a friend I was straightforward, I was honest, and I was trying to give them some sort of peace because they were feeling anxious. And that information got run to, I don't know how many different people. I know at least one different person who then put it in a video. And I don't appreciate that. And that permanently burned me from opening up to people online, for sure, friend or not. When it comes to being straightforward and honest from now on, I think I'm just going to say, I don't think you have the right to know that because I don't know if it's going to stay with you. And that sucks. That's a really hard thing to deal with on my end. Backtrack a little bit. Everything happens. The community obviously gets torn into a million pieces, and it's pretty much 99 versus 1. Nappy was probably my best online friend, I would say, despite not coming to my wedding. Obviously, he was a business partner as well, not like on paper, but we were planning on starting a Soul Link channel where we were going to Soul Link other games. And my whole career got turned upside down because of something that I had no idea was going on. You guys kind of know me, and you know what? You'll have to take me on my word for this. If I was privy to any of that information, I would never have hitched my wagon to that horse. Literally, like, I have thousands and thousands of dollars came from a series that will never be again. I spent years building up a brand of Soul Link with someone that is forever gone. And that is the reality. I had to deal with that. That was a very dark time for me back then. And it's not something I could share, right? Because that is not important during that moment. There are people that were hurt. There are people that were taken advantage of. There were people that were verbally abused. And that was not important. So I had to deal with that with myself and counseling and all that stuff. And I got past it. I accepted that the years that I spent building something, you have to go through your stages of grief, because I did lose something there. I lost a friendship. I lost business. I lost trust. I lost faith in myself to be a good judge of character. And then lo and behold. So 99 versus 1. I'm not the kind of person to, and this is where I'm going to lose a lot of you guys, I think. I'm not the kind of person to just write someone off. It's just not in me. I need to take time. I need to digest things that have happened. I need to really fact dig, and I need to make the decision for myself. When everything happened, I knew immediately that I was not going to work professionally with this person anymore, with Nappy. And I told him that. On many occasions after everything happened. But let me walk through the timeline and see what I can share. So after everything happens, I think I reach out to Nappy and we talk a little bit. And what we talk about is just me saying, like, how, like, why, and the conversation is pretty cloudy for me, if I'm honest with you. That conversation. Months go by and we don't speak. We don't speak much. I kept the lines of communication open, and I'll be straight up with you why I kept the lines of communication open. And I'm going to give a little bit of a trigger warning here. If you are prone to depression or self-harm or anything like that. So please just exit out of the video and read the comment down below for your information if that's the case. With everything that happened last year so Nappy's gone, and then obviously we lose Etika. Once that happened, I was really fearful of Nappy taking his life. So, because I had no idea. We stopped. We had that conversation after everything happened. That's it. I tell him that we can't, we have to stop everything we're doing. We're in the middle of a soul link. So I eventually, either he actually ends up texting me on some occasion, whether it's a holiday or something. And I was grateful to hear that he didn't do anything rash to himself. And I respond and we have a conversation. We just talk, we catch up. He tells me what things going on in his life. I obviously, my hope during this conversation is that I hear, hey, what I did was messed up. I'm getting help. That's one of the two big reasons I kept that line of communication open. I wanted to hear that my friend was getting help and getting better. That's what I wanted. Selfishly, obviously, but I kept the line of communication open for sure. After that, he didn't say that he was getting help. I didn't ask like, hey, how are you getting help? I feel like that's a little forward. I was hoping we'd have more conversations. So we probably have the occasional text once every 3 weeks about something, not really missing each other, not really engaging in any deep conversation. And I follow him on Instagram. I found I found like a smaller Instagram, or he actually told me. He told me, he's like, hey man, just so you know, this is my Instagram if you want to follow back. I followed him, although in the hopes that, let me hope that he's getting help. Let me keep an eye and make sure that nothing rash happens. And then Sword and Shield launch is approaching. And Nappy says, I want to come back to the internet. And this is at like 5 months now that he's been gone, maybe 6 months. My timeline might be a little screwed up. It was like a couple weeks before Sword and Shield launched that he dropped this on me. There was something that happened in between there. And let me just think if I want to share this, because it just came to my mind. So a couple weeks before that, maybe not a couple weeks, some period of time in between there, Nappy reached out because he wanted to trademark. Maybe this was right around the same time, actually. I think it was. I think it was like still just a couple weeks before Sword and Shield. But he wanted to trademark Soul Link. And I basically laughed. I remember showing Sam, like, babe, we didn't even invent Soul Link. This is not our thing to be able to do. We can't trademark this. And I basically just told him that. I said, hey man, I'm not down to trademark. Actually, that was my immediate response. And I said, hey man, he's like, hey, I'm talking to a lawyer, we'll figure it out. And then he wanted to have a call. So I think we ended up having a call, because I remember this is on voice. This isn't on Discord, because I don't know if it would have impacted me more or less if it was voice or text. I'm not sure yet. But we were having a conversation about it. I basically told him we were catching up. We hadn't talked in a little while at this point. Like I said, we would go like 3 or 4 weeks. Text would exchange, maybe, whatever. I might still have everything. I could probably do dates. I'm not the kind of person that will ever show. I'm not showing messages. I think that's just a little bit beneath me. Oh, maybe I don't. Do I not have? Oh, here we go. I do have him as a thing still. Let me see. Incredibly Swamped. That was in September. The last time we spoke was September. Okay, so this happened in September then, for sure. We had a phone call talking about trademarking Soul Link and catching up, and we were also just catching up at this point. And he had actually said something regarding Etika's passing. And it's not my place to say what he said, because it's just what he said. But what he said did not sit well with me personally, and maybe it would sit fine with you. So don't assume that what he said was automatically the worst thing in the world. But for me, it changed, it solidified that there was no help being sought for any sort of negative habits or feelings or what have you. It really messed me up. And I remember within 60 seconds being like, hey man, I have to go. Hung up the call, sent him a text that basically said, I don't want any part with trademarking Soul Link. If you need me to remove my videos because you're going to trademark it, let me know. Let me see what I said. Sorry, it's been crazy. This was on my anniversary with my wife. Out to dinner for anniversary. Don't worry about including me on Soul Link trademark. Doesn't feel right to me. This is my message, so I don't mind reading it verbatim. Just let me know if it means I need to remove my stuff from the channel and everything. That was the last text I sent him. That was the last time we spoke. Everyone wants to know the last time we spoke. I kept the lines of communication open. Let me just see how many texts we have between the... So not that many. The lines of communication were open, but it's really not that many. Yeah. It's really nothing. We had really long texts. Really, this must have been the first time we spoke. Yes, this is the first time we spoke since everything. May. And then we didn't speak again till June. And then we didn't speak again till August. So, and they were just exchanges. The first one was giant texts and then just some exchanges. So the line of communications were open for a long time. The reason why lines of communication aren't open right now is because of what was said. And because he wanted to trademark Soul Link. It just felt weird. And I wouldn't say the lines of communication aren't open, but like my friend that I knew doesn't exist. I don't think. And that's a really sucky thing for me. But it's a sucky thing for everyone, obviously. He impacted a lot of people. So it is what it is. And the only reason, I should have said this at the start, only reason I'm talking about this because holy crap, is it annoying? And like, I get that people want to know because I was his closest friend. And I guess this is just me giving in. This is just me saying, you know what? Anytime someone asks me about Nappy, I'm going to direct them to this video and I'm going to make a penny off of it, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know the answer. The answer is either to speak up about it or to disappear off the internet because no matter what game I'm playing on Twitch, no matter what channel I make, it gets asked. And this is my answer. The line of communications were open. I did not abandon my friend. That's not what happened. But albeit through everything, my friend is not who I thought he was. And I would love to hear the day that he's changed and he's getting help. And I know that he's back to content creation. And I know you guys, a lot of you guys want a Soul Link. And I'm not even here to like, he exists, man. Like he is doing his thing, doing better than me. He exists. That's fine. Like he's been uploading. I haven't been uploading. And I don't care, you know, like people that I disagree with on a level of ethos exist. And I'm not out here to try to stop all of them. That's not my goal. My good that I'm aiming for is to bring some light into the world. And I'm hoping the light that I bring in snuffs out the dark. I'm not going to go and start witch hunting. It's just not what I am. But that's everything. That's everything that I have for you guys on that. That might have been too much information. I don't know. But maybe now it can stop. Maybe now it can just stop with all the questions and thinking that I'm a terrible person. And you know what? It's okay. People still think I'm a terrible person, right? But I guess it was getting under my skin a little bit that people would be like, oh yeah, you abandoned your friend, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's crazy to me. Take this as a lesson if you're watching this video. You do not have the story. You do not have the whole book. You have half a piece of paper shredded out of 300 pages in a book. And you're making assumptions off this half a piece of paper from the story. But you don't have all the information. So I understand wanting to seek out the information. But that book is something that you earn through relationship. In life, you don't just get to say, money, please. It's not how it works. Information is earned. It's not just, I don't know. That's everything. Maybe I should have just talked about this at the end because now it's like, I'm going to be jumping into some weird stuff. You know what? No, screw it. This is better. That's all. Half of you guys are gone. Woo, this is a long video. Oh my gosh. A lot of you guys are gone. That's fine. I'm really happy to have answered all that. If I'm honest with you, I really am, because now anytime someone asks this, I can just direct them to this video. And that's going to be so useful. It's going to be so useful because I have a clear conscience, because something that actually was said to me by Nappy was, you know, you're the only person that didn't try to make money off of this situation. Like everyone else is updating videos and whatever. And I think because the information that I was straightforward with a friend ended up being in one of another person's videos, because that happened, I think at that moment, that's when I knew I was going to address this publicly. I'm pretty sure that was when I was like, okay, so the information that I'm giving to someone to help ease their anxiety is going to get put out there in public anyway. So I might as well tell my side of things. I gave you guys like 3 or 4 pages of the story, right? Like that's what I have. That's what I have. And that's the thing. I don't even have the full story. And that's why I don't get hung up on this kind of, I try not to get hung up on this kind of stuff because I don't have the whole story. I only have what I know. Now you guys know what I know. And you know why I will not be doing content despite the fact that Nappy's back to uploading. It's why I don't go to his videos and leave comments or thumbs down. I don't care. Like, those people can exist. It doesn't have to make me happy. It doesn't have to make me thrilled. But like, I have my world to worry about, right? Like, we have our world. If everyone impacted their world positively, the entire world would be impacted positively. So that's kind of the ethos that I'm living out right now. Woo! Beyond all that, current things that your boy is doing. So current projects. I started a TFT channel. If you know what TFT is, oh man, I should have plugged this before the Nappy stuff. I could have. Woo! There'll be a link in the description to a TFT channel. I upload there 3 to 4 times a week. I love Teamfight Tactics. It's a tactical game. You build teams. You draft from a shared pool of heroes. It's based on League of Legends. I didn't know anything about League of Legends before this really, but it doesn't matter. It's the mechanics that I love. It's auto chess, but it's so much fun. I stream it about twice a week and I upload there 3 to 4 times a week. You can subscribe down there only if you're interested in that channel. We're about to be monetized, which is Pogs. We have over 2,000 subscribers over there naturally before plugging it on this channel. I did plug it on Twitter. But I wanted to grow something without just being like, help me, shady people. Help me, the thousands of you that will watch this video. So if you're interested in TFT, subscribe over there. If you're not, unsubscribe from that channel, please. Don't, the YouTube algorithm, one of the things I learned is that one of the reasons why our channel is kind of screwed, one of the reasons, is between variety and then dead subscribers. And like, obviously this channel has a ton of those because kids grew up. I stopped uploading. I did variety. So we have like 400,000 dead subscribers in this channel. They don't even, we probably have like 100,000 people that don't even watch YouTube anymore. And then like those accounts, and then 300,000 dead subscribers and 100,000 active viewers that are waiting for content. So I have a TFT channel. I recorded a second song for Nate Wants to Battle's Thanks for More Covers album, which is coming out April 20th. You guys should go check it out. I'm going to link in the description where you can do all the things. You can pre-order it. You can pre-save it on Spotify, all that fun stuff. But I cover The Middle by Jimmy Eat World with him. And it was such an honor, such a privilege. So seriously, go support every song on that album. There are crazy artists on this album. Like first of all, Nate, I love you, man. He knows this. I tell him all the time, probably too much, but like, you are such an incredible human being, and you have a way of instilling confidence in people. Thank you so much for that. And really working with me on the 2 songs that we've done, Miserable Best and now The Middle. But there are so many crazy artists on there. First of all, Nate Wants to Battle. Nathan Sharp is on there. Woo! And then there's people like, oh my God, I can't even, like Aaron from Game Grumps is on there. Dan from Game Grumps is on there. Dookie Shed is on there. There's just so many cool people that I admire. It's just wild, man. There's so many. I should have named anyone because I should name everyone. Like, it's just wild. Anna Prosser's on there, whom is a good friend of mine. Yeah. So check out that album in the description. Game development right now is on pause. Like I said, I do still want to pursue teaching that, but I really want to have my tools sharpened. I was trying, my roadmap was to put out a game, which is why I hired an artist and we worked on it for 4 weeks. Thousands later, we have to take a pause, but we're not thousands, a couple thousand. We're going to take a pause, and I want to pick it back up in the future for sure. I want to put out a game before I start teaching you guys how to make games, because I think that makes sense. I think I'm going to scale back and make a much smaller game, even if it's just an arcade game. So they can say, hey, I published this. It's available. Let me teach you how to make games. Because that's something that I'm super passionate about. And I think it'll be really cool to be able to be the person to help you on your journey in game development, if that's something you're interested in. And that's pretty much what's going on inside the channel when it comes to professional endeavors. Obviously, D&D Presents, I talked about. It's as soon as I know information, you'll know information. Seriously, I love D&D. I cannot wait to play D&D. I should be playing more D&D in the near future. And you guys might be able to see that stuff. But when it comes to D&D Presents, I don't have concrete information yet. I'm hoping to have information this month. But obviously, with everything going on in the world, things are just delayed and pushed back, and conversations are going to be had in the future. A family update. I have 2 kids now. Wesley is 4 weeks old this Friday, and he is awesome. He grunts like a pig. At first, he squeaked like a door hinge, and now he grunts like a pig when he sleeps. So it's a good thing. My wife is a rock star, man. She was crafted and designed to be a mom. It is insane. I was not. I definitely was not. I love my kids so much, but my wife is just magic. I love you, babe. You are so impressive. And we're also potentially moving. We are talking about potentially leaving New York. And one of the biggest, I mean, I've wanted to move for a long while. We didn't want to leave because of family. But one of the biggest and two big things that are kind of stirring our hearts now is one, our family's growing, and we want to make sure we're positioned in the best location for them to grow up and plant roots. I don't know if Long Island is the best place for them to plant roots when they're older. And one of the reasons that is, number two, is because of how densely populated we are. You guys don't know right now, for everything that's going on in the world, Long Island is becoming the next hot spot. We're becoming the next center after New York City because we're right next to the city. Dense population in this kind of situation is very terrible. Dense population also leads to high crime rate, high violence. It also leads to better hospitals and a lot of really good education for sure. But I think the bad outweighs the good. So we're talking about that. We're talking about moving. And if we do move, when it comes to the financial aspect of it, I'll just give you guys a quick insight. We looked at a house in North Carolina, just on, Zillow, Trulia. And the mortgage payment for that house is the same as our property tax payment here. Actually, it's less than the property tax payment here. So what that would mean is that we would have our entire mortgage payment from New York in our hands, that we could help people, we could save, we could go on a trip, I wouldn't have to worry about working as much and trying to devise business plans. I could just become a farmer, get a farm for we could get farm animals. And because Abby, okay, bro, we showed Abby her first animal documentary yesterday. She hasn't watched screens at all. And now she's almost 18 months old. And that's when we wanted to start giving her screen time. We showed her an animal documentary and she loves animals. Hi, the whole time just waving at the TV, loving it. So I think she would love farm animals. There's two things that I see that she has naturally built into her, which is animals and dancing are the two things that she really, really gets fired up over at this age. So I want to invest in those for sure. So yes, if we move, I could potentially invest in those even further. I'm really exploring the idea of what freedom means to me, what purpose in life means to me. And I think that even with how lucky I am with my job, there's a tendency in American society specifically to say, if you're not working, you're doing it wrong. If you're not getting everything you can get, you're doing it wrong. And I just don't think that that's right. I think that that's wrong. So I'm exploring what that means for me and my family specifically. And finally, hold on. Before finally, let me just check Twitter if there's any tweets that I wanted to answer specifically. You are like the Avatar when we needed you most, you badness. Sorry. Oh, man. Will you be returning and having any Pokemon Nuzlocke? They're not in the foreseeable. No, I don't plan on playing Pokemon right now. Like I said, Pokemon to me was so tightly integrated into my friend group that I don't want to say that it's tainted, but creating content for it is not right for me right now. It's just not right for me right now. So for the foreseeable future, there's no Pokemon content happening because it hurts. Do we have to keep it shady? Absolutely. What's the best way to support me? So the best way to support me, okay, so straight up, if you have the finances, the best way to support me is by joining our Patreon. We have hundreds of hours of playthrough content over there. Right now we're going through Golden Deer Fire Emblem, and Golden Sun is finishing up as well. We did double Golden, I didn't even realize. We're going to be starting a brand new playthrough. Golden Sun has probably 2 more episodes left, or maybe 3, and we're going to be starting a brand new playthrough where the patrons will vote on that. That's the best way to support me financially. Obviously, coming into streams would probably be the next best way. And then finally, watching the YouTube videos that we upload to this channel in the near future is going to be the next best way. I talked about Torch already. Will you ever give Nappy a second chance? I just told you about everything, how I kept lines of communication open. So I think that answers your question there. Lines of communication are basically still open, but giving someone a second chance doesn't mean working with them. Let's just talk about this really quick. When someone does something, it's okay if it has permanent effects, right? Like you can forgive someone and even move past something without everything going back to the way it was before. That is such a naive mindset to think that the only way you have truly moved on is if things are way back before. I punch a hole in the wall and then I, fill it in and paint it. Like it looks good. It looks like it's back to the way it was, but it's actually not. It is forever changed. And that's what happens when things go wrong. I Are you leaving YouTube? I am not leaving YouTube. Instead of updating everyone every couple months, just do what he wants. I did not want to do this video. Well, I did want to. That's why I did it. But I've avoided, I did not want to do any more update videos until we just jumped into something, but this just felt necessary before we take the next step. This is probably the last update video of the channel until the end of 2020, honestly, because I'm just going to, once we get to the end of the video, you'll see what I'm going to be doing. It's not my goodbye to YouTube. I will talk about the I have conceded comment. I think that's everything. That's all the questions you guys have. Asking me to do projects with other Pokemon creators. They're really cool. I met them actually at PAX East, and I'm so lucky to have inspired such talented people like Hayes and Gen 1 and Corefish and Vinny, and well, Vinny is. Anyway, original. So anyway, but obviously you guys know now that like that phase, that my Pokemon community phase is kind of over. I was even reached out to about a project very recently about Pokemon, and I kind of just said like, man, I feel like an outlier in this community right now. I understand that I made waves, and that I was a huge part of it, but with everything, I feel like an outlier, and it's not the community's fault. It's not my fault. It's just how it is. Like, it's okay. I'm so at peace with that, honestly. And I hope you guys are too. I think that's it. And that's really everything. Everything else is just repeats. Yes, everything else is repeats. I am happy. I am very happy, Zuki. Thank you. I am more happy now, and I feel so good about getting this off my chest. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to read the comments. I cannot wait to read the comments. Okay, longest update video of my life. Where do we go from here? So, Vanguard 0. So you know Card Fight Vanguard, it's a card game that I loved growing up. And it's coming out to mobile this week. We will be uploading that to the channel. If you want to join me on that, and you want, if maybe you're tired of Duel Links, you miss Duel Links, and you want a new card game, you want a new mobile game, join me on this venture. I will be uploading that. And the reason why I'm uploading that is because I have conceded to the YouTube algorithm. YouTube algorithm, you win when it comes to Shady Penguinn. You have won with this channel. My TFT channel will be strictly TFT. It will abide by your overlord rules, but gosh darn it, Shady Penguinn started before I was a slave to the YouTube algorithm. So I'm breaking shackles, and I'm going to play what I'm passionate about here on the channel. I think Vanguard has really high potential to please the algorithm eventually. And I think that you guys would enjoy it. Because so that's the big thing, right? If I'm completely transparent with you guys, what I think this channel is going to end up becoming is it's going to end up becoming a very heavy on card games, because I love card games. I always go back to card games. And we're going to start with Vanguard. And we're going to play Vanguard for a while. I've been playing, I haven't played Runeterra in a couple weeks since I started TFT, but I also love Runeterra. I think Runeterra is one of the best card games that's ever come out. If you love card games, play Runeterra. Runeterra is actually coming out to mobile in a couple weeks as well. So we might jump on that. It's going to become a card game based channel. Right now, it's going to become Vanguard. We're going to do Vanguard pretty heavily. I'm not saying that we're going back to daily uploads by any stretch, but I do plan on uploading Vanguard content starting whenever the game drops, which should be on Friday. When it comes to Let's Plays, I know a lot of you guys love that stuff. YouTube does not. It just doesn't. YouTube does not like unless I heavily edit and I shorten the videos and I take like a 40-hour game and turn it into a 3-hour session of videos. And I don't have the time for that, unfortunately. I don't have the resources to hire an editor to do that. And it's not the kind of content that I really want to make. So if you want Let's Play content, like I said, there's hundreds of hours of content over on Patreon. It's $3 a month. If you want all the content, right now we only have a premium Fire Emblem playthroughs, those $6 a month. So you don't have to do that by any stretch, but that's where my Let's Play content is going to be. If I do any Let's Plays on Twitch, I will upload them. I will probably even upload them here. Maybe not. I might just upload them as public. So I use my Shady Penguinn VODs channel as just where I upload all my Patreon stuff, but I may just use that channel for VODs. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm sorry that there's no Let's Play content in the schedule in the future. I'm sorry there's no Pokemon content. I have over 3,000 videos in this channel. I hope that those can bring some light into your life. For now, I'm going to pursue what I'm passionate about, or what I'm excited about, which is going to be Vanguard, and I'm going to see how it goes. If it doesn't thrill me as much as I think it will, then I'm going to move on, and that'll be it. You'll see uploads on here if I'm passionate about something that I think that YouTube will be okay with me sharing. You won't if there's nothing that I feel like YouTube's happy about me sharing. And that's the way it's going to be. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitch. Twitch is where you'll see me most often in regards to video game content. Some nights it's TFT, some nights it's Animal Crossing. Some nights it might be Zelda. I don't know. I want to play video games. I want to make you guys smile. I want to be able to pursue my passions and sharpen my skills in game dev. And I think this is the route we're going. And this is probably the last update video you'll see from me. So I love you guys. Thank you for everything over these 7 years. You'll know when my last video on this channel is, by the way, if you made it this far. The last video on my channel will be me watching my first video. Once you see that, you'll know that this book is closed. And that's okay, because luckily you can always go reread it. That's the beauty of YouTube. I'm going to get the hashtag out of here. Have yourselves a fantastic day, but above all else, keep it shady.